Hi, I'm Mia Parrish, and welcome to Devils in the Details, where we come together in our now Zoom-friendly format to take a deeper dive about what's going on around the university and things that you might have read about or heard about and may want to learn more about. And here we are with some experts, Provost Mark Searle and Kent Hopkins, to talk about summer 2020. It is unusual, like everything going on right now. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about that and share that with folks. Maybe Mark, you could kick us off and tell us more about how it's different compared to past summer sessions.
Well, I thank you, Mia, and it's great to be here and to have an opportunity to talk about what we're doing in summer 2020. It's an exciting opportunity, even though it's a different opportunity. Obviously, in most summers, we'd have lots of students on campus, and we would have students online as well. But this year, circumstances cause us to think differently and to ensure that education is provided in a different mode. And so through our use of technology, through Zoom, what ASU is referring to as ASU Sync, it's a synchronized mode of teaching. We're teaching students through digital formats online, as well as through this great technology that allows us to see and to be interactive at the same time with all of our classmates and with the faculty member. And so that's a very distinct difference for this summer.
No, it's huge. Kent, it's sometimes joked, we're national, we're international, we're intergalactic, but we're everywhere. Now we have a lot of classes. Maybe talk about how many and how that is different for accessibility for people too this year.
Sure. As Mark had indicated, we have summer session A, B, and C, both for online learning and learning remotely instead of campus immersion. And right now we have over 52,000 students registered in all of those sessions, in all of those modes. Last year was our highest summer session enrollment ever at 46,000. So we're very excited that students are stepping back and knowing that either they need, because spring semester interrupted, either they need to take on additional courses that maybe they stepped aside from, or possibly get ahead. So we're really excited that students have, as of today, registered for one of 5,500 courses that we're offering this summer.
So 5,500, so 5,500 courses. That's a lot of content that's going out there. What are some of your favorite things going on, or additional? How many do we normally have? And then you've added.
Well, we normally offer somewhere between 4,500 courses, I would say, on average. But we've added more courses, more degree programs are coming online for students to select from. Our faculty have been incredibly adaptive in designing courses that heretofore we didn't teach remotely, and being able to adapt them to this new modality. And we also have a variety of new courses that faculty have proposed and are offering this summer, some dealing specifically with this coronavirus, so that students who are interested can take a course and understand it deeper, whether it's from the science point of view or the sociological point of view, but they can get a deeper understanding of the issues that surround this particular virus and how it's affecting humankind.
So one of the things you mentioned, Kent, was students being able to go straight in from, get ahead basically. And right now they're a little bit behind high schoolers coming into college because they had their semesters cut short, and this allows them to maybe catch up a little bit. And I think that's really exciting. And that's
it does. Cool. So you think, again, of spring semester interrupted, both at the high school setting and the university setting. So there's two really important tracks that we're creating. And it's for that high school senior who's completing his or her high school experience. And instead of waiting until the fall semester, we're encouraging many of those high school seniors to join us for the summer school. And typically we've only averaged about 120 or 130 of those types of students in previous summer sessions. We already have 300 of those students already registered for classes. The colleges are doing such a great job helping that high school senior who's completing his or her high school career to go, okay, you can take these 2 classes this summer, but then we'll bolt right into your first year experience, but why wait until August? So that's one. And then the second is for students throughout the United States, as well as other countries, we're calling that the Visiting University Student Initiative. So Mark had asked us to imagine, how do we open up these 5,500 courses to anyone? A lot of universities just don't have a good menu of courses that are available in the summer. We have 5,500. Why not allow a student who is in California or Illinois or wherever, Canada, Mark's homeland, to join us as a visiting university student? So they go in, they look at the course they need at their home institution, either to catch up or to get ahead. And we've made a really easy process for them to join us this summer as visiting university students.
And you can do that for credit or not, right? I mean, you can be in from anywhere, test it out.
You can take courses as what we call technically inside the university an auditing student, just for your own information. We also have courses through that are absolutely free, and students can just take them if they're interested. There's no credit associated with them, but they can take them. There's about 20 of those courses that are offered at different points in time, and students can actually take them if they want to think they might want credit. They can pay a very small fee for what's called identity verification, so we actually know who's taking the course. And then once they get the grade, they can apply to us for the credit, and they have a time frame within which they can do that. So that's another option. And we're also offering a series of courses, mostly in the STEM area, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, on an every 2-week basis, so that students can start more frequently than just in the normal A, B, and C semesters of our summer. So it gives more options for students. And then the last thing I would add is that we not only have high school students who are graduating taking courses, we also have high school students who are still in high school who are using the summer because they're ready to take a university course and take that university course, and we welcome them.
Yes, I'm really glad you brought that up, because it does sound torturous to take Algebra 101 over and over again, but I'm sorry, I know you're maybe torturous to me, maybe not so torturous to you, but you have that opportunity that you can try it out and make sure that you're ready. And and you can do that basically for free, right?
Yes, you can. You can do algebra, pre-calculus, English literature or composition. There's a variety of courses in this Introduction to Human Origins, which is a really fascinating course. One of the great faculty members of ASU, Don Johansson, who was the individual who discovered Lucy, the oldest skeleton at the time ever found in Ethiopia. And Professor Johansson tells great stories about how humans came to be, and helps students really understand it in a very palpable way. And you can take that for free, or you can take it for credit as you wish.
And that's anyone, anywhere, right? Just
anyone, anywhere.
Hop in at any time. Are there other services available for students to help them be successful? What does that look like?
We have all kinds of services available in the summer, just as we would in the regular year. So whether a student needs tutoring for a math course, or support in their writing, and not just for English composition, but perhaps for essays they're writing, or a term paper they have to create, or something else. All those services are available electronically, and students can get all the support they need. We also have other services related to health, counseling, and other student services, so that students feel that the university is here in every respect in supporting their learning needs.
Right. It really does feel like people have been surrounded with help. I feel that as a faculty member. I feel, I've seen that for our students. So that's been really impressive, because we do have, I don't even know, Kent, how many students now?
Well, this summer, 120,000 students learning with us.
Wow. And And you don't have to say exactly how many different countries, where are they?
Well over 120 different countries, 9,000 international students learning, mainly here in the Valley and in centers and locations throughout Arizona. And they're just doing a great job. I think the university as a whole did such a wonderful job of helping students know that their health and safety was the most important component of the spring semester, and that when we moved to a learning remotely format, the students were in this with us. As Mark said, we had requisite support services in place as they were continuing their spring semester. And I think a lot of the continuing student know that as they get ready for the summer session as well.
And yeah, I might add that one of the important supports we've provided is that if students don't have a laptop that's appropriate or they don't have an internet connection, we've been providing laptops and hotspots to students. They can borrow them through the library, and they're available to students for their learning purposes. We don't want anybody to feel that they can't continue because they don't have an internet connection in their home, or they don't have a laptop that will allow them to connect into and teach and learn in the course.
I'm really glad you brought that up. A lot of people talk about how, everybody's working from home, everybody's learning from home. It's all fine. Not every home has internet access. Not every home has computers that are Zoom capable, and that has been an issue even for big businesses, not just for the university, but certainly for students. And that's those sorts of resources. How have you been able to deploy those so quickly too? That's been amazing.
Well,
how can students and how do students get access to that?
So preparation is always a key, and we had been purchasing laptops partly because we ourselves go through a lot on a replacement basis, but we redeployed them for students to be able to use and ordered more. Same with hotspots so that students can connect. It's basically connecting into the cellular telephone system that allows them then to have access into the computing system. And students just have to contact the library. There's a page where they can go and make a request, and then they can pick up the computer, or if they don't live here, we can deliver the computer. And so we've made every accommodation we can, and we think it's absolutely critical to live our charter, which is to be inclusive, not exclusive, and to ensure every student succeeds. In order for that to happen, that means we also have to equip those students, especially in a time like this where it is so unusual and people are so restricted in their mobility.
We're dealing with a lot of lost jobs, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety about what comes next. And I think, in those challenging times with people losing their jobs and things, Mark, maybe you could talk a little bit about how this can be helpful going forward.
Certainly. First, I think it's really important to point out that we have a very robust scholarship program for the summer, because we recognize that people have financial strains that were completely unanticipated and that they couldn't have planned for. And so for all of our students, we have a scholarship program that we've been offering to them, whether they're resident students, out-of-state students, or international students. And then, we think that, ultimately, as this crisis passes and we get through it, and we will, I think it's very important for everybody to keep in mind there is a positive future ahead, and that future is bright. But in order to take advantage of that future, you really need to have the education and the training necessary to succeed. And everything we're doing is to try and position students so that when this is over, they've got great opportunities in front of them, and that they can take advantage of them because of the education they got at Arizona State University.
All right. And it isn't just for Arizona State University students, right, Kent? I mean, we're welcoming.
Last couple summers, we welcomed about 350 students who were enrolled at other universities. They came in, they took a summer class, and then they transferred that class back to their home institution for credit. We're telling everyone you can do that as a visiting university student. So please come and join us for the summer.
It's not even a tent. We don't have a big enough tent. We're just inviting everybody. Just come on over and.
Why not? Why not? I mean, you could look at, let's say, universities in California, and maybe that home university only offers 300 or 400 or 500 classes for the summer session that are going to be delivered online. We're offering 5,500. It just gives students choices.
How affordable is this? I mean, everybody's everyone's hurting, and I know that you've made some changes, Kent and Mark both. Kent, maybe that's a question for you. How affordable?
As Mark said earlier, there are scholarship assistants for all types of learners. For our need-based students here in Arizona, our Pell Grant students have access to federal government year-round Pell funds. So that's extremely important to take advantage of that. And I would say, our currently enrolled students know the difference in cost as it relates to fall and spring tuition versus summer. Summer is very affordable, and so they're taking advantage of that.
That's great. That's great. And is there anything else you'd just like people to know about summer 2020 and what's coming up? And I know it keeps changing. We keep iterating. Sorry. Last you checked.
Part of our mantra is to continually change and evolve as an institution, and that goes for summer session too. But, no, we're up. We're going to be running as of May 18th, as Kent said, and we're going to have lots of options for students in lots of different ways, and students from a variety of different places or backgrounds or circumstances, and whether they're in high school or graduating high school or just coming to us as first-year students or students who are continuing students. So we have entering graduate students who will be starting this summer. So there are lots of options for students, and we want to work to ensure we can accommodate them in every way we can, including their financial need.
That's fantastic. I really appreciate both of you being here for Devils in the Details, and it gives people an opportunity to look behind the scenes and to just hear from you and about what's going on and the wide range of interesting things it's really hard to even keep track of. So I appreciate you talking about summer 2020 today, and appreciate all you're doing to help educate more people and share the knowledge and the opportunities that we have. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you, Mia.